Raj, for such an amazing sort of session. And some of you said, right, it looks like a magic. And I think it's true that first time when we also saw a tool, for us also, we felt that it's a magic that how can somebody think through all the scenarios and come up with something which is maybe meaningful, and we'll have to again still go on field and validate that. But when we were looking at, and Bhanu and me and couple of others, when we spent time on figuring out, now we have a tool, but what do we do with this tool now, right? From where should I start, Bhanu? Now tool is there, but I don't know where do I start. And I'm sure many of them has this question. I may have access, maybe Raj and team has given access to us or all of you, but from where I should start? And are there any similar tools available in the world? And what do I do with those tools also? And it is going to be very important for next 3 days. These tools becomes, we are not going to replace anybody, but as Raj also said, it will accelerate the journey of research for you and all of us. So maybe with that, I'll just ask Bhanu this question again, from where we should start, right? For this particular tool, which has a lot of power, but from where we should start?
Okay. Thank you everyone, nice to be here. So first of all, I want a quick show of hands. How many of you are working either on your startup or on your idea using AI? Any tables that don't have any hands up? Okay. What about the filmmaker? She left? Okay. Yeah, I think this is, as somebody rightly put it, this sounds like magic. So there's a lot of internal mechanics that's going on in generating that classic output. So now,
still we need to solve the problem of projection. Even we are talking about AI, but these are the important thing, right? Yeah.
but I can't see it.
How many of you already got an access to the tool which Raj has showed? Okay. How many of you have not gotten access? Can you raise your hand? Okay, Raj, there are still good amount of people who don't have access. So maybe Nikhil and team, if you can get their email IDs and not email ID, now it's a, so you can register yourself. I think they can register yourself. QR code, where is the QR code? So maybe you can put it in the group. So we're putting the QR code on the group so that you can get an access to the tool. Meanwhile, I'll just hand it over to Bhanu.
Where do we start, right? So one of the things that we have done is we have put a lot of effort into gathering data about what happens in Kumbh Mela typically, right? So what are the challenges? What are the problem statements? What do the administration want? And all of this knowledge we have sort of curated and kept it in one place. So now the right place for you to start would be to understand what are problems worth solving, right? And then put up those problems that are worth solving into what Raj has shown to us. And then you can understand the merits and demerits of a particular approach that you take. So just like they took what Gedam sir mentioned in a presentation about onions or any other problem statement that they have encountered, and they put it into the system, now you can actually identify similar problem statements from the knowledge base that we will share with you now. So all of you have access to these knowledge tools already, right? So I'll just quickly walk you through some of these tools, and you'll get an idea of how you can use these knowledge tools to find the problem statement that you want to address. So you may already be working on a problem statement. You already may have a startup, but you may want to pivot your startup to solve a particular problem statement. To even do that, you'll need to understand how can you make the features, the capabilities that you have relevant to the problem statement. So unless I understand what those problem statements are, you will probably not be able to make that connection. So this tools that we are introducing to you is to do that first step and identify the problem statements that are worth solving. And then you take the problem statement and any rough ideas that you may have of how you can solve the problem statement, put it into this new tool that you just got introduced in the previous session. And then you will get a ranking of how effective your solutions are, and then what you should do next on each of those ideas. That's in general the framework of how you would do it. So I'll quickly tell you what is there in this knowledge base. There are over 100 research papers on what we call mass gathering events. That is large mass gatherings that includes the Kumbh Mela, that includes Olympics, the Hajj, and many other places where millions of people gather. So what happens during this time? What are the health implications? What are the civic implications of having so many people come into one place? So all of these knowledge base in the form of research papers are there in this. So we also had multiple rounds of unconference. You saw the dignitaries today. Each of those, officer would have tremendous amount of understanding of what is needed to achieve a smooth and conduct a smooth Kumbh Mela. So we have taken a lot of understanding from what they think should happen during the Kumbh Mela, what kind of problems may happen, and what their needs are. And we have called these sessions unconferences, and we have had a series of these unconferences. Each of the sessions that we have had, we documented what were the key findings, what were the key asks, and put that in a knowledge base. And then we also have representatives of the team who are sitting in some of these meetings where the administration is having with the department officials, trying to plan for the Kumbh Mela. What kind of infrastructure needs to be set up, what kind of facilities need to be provided, who needs to be mobilized. All of these discussions are happening. So these meeting notes, as the meetings happen in these offices, these meeting notes have also been taken. So this is also a knowledge base that's available. And then there have also been books, articles, and so many blogs that have been written on Kumbh Mela. So we have taken the text from those resources as well. All of this knowledge has been put into AI tools now. So you can actually chat with these AI tools, and you can learn what, like Raj just mentioned, you can actually accelerate your ability to understand the Kumbh Mela into a much shorter time. By asking very good questions, you will understand everything that you need to know about the Kumbh Mela in a very short time, right? So
I'll just add one important point on this slide. Like often these questions comes, right? What tools will do? But I think we will not be able to replace the experience of the people on the field, right? When we conducted these unconferences, more than 200 stakeholder, example, somebody today you met, commissioner, to somebody who's actually maybe health worker on the field, or maybe somebody who's a health officer, or somebody is a farmer, or agriculture officer, or maybe from industry representative. Diverse set of stakeholders actually participated in these unconference. Some of these photos you can see. Now, the beauty of many times what happens, we do meetings, we do actually spend time on understanding the needs, but we keep a note and maybe it is in some format. Here also we had sticky notes and everything, but all of those were digitalized and made available in this tool. So it is not only about what is available on the internet, but it is a lot of wisdom from the people on the field also made available. Imagine you have to talk to similar set of 200 people. It may take another 2 months, 3 months, or maybe a year, more than that, for you to reach and talk to them and again understand the needs also. So this tool actually has captured all of those. So it is not only about what is available on internet, but what is actually coming from these conversations on the field.
And the way for you to get access to the tool, the most important step is for you to scan this QR code and register yourself if you've already not done so. I think about 90% is what we got the last count, that all of you already have access to these tools, right? Can you please confirm if any of you are seeing this QR code page for the first time? Yeah, you probably don't have access to these tools. If you have already scanned this and updated your email ID, we have a team that's actually making sure that you have access to these tools. Okay, anybody else still doing it? So the next thing that you all need to do is, it's also a practice to go on the Kumbhathon website. So you need to go on the Kumbhathon website. It's kumbhathon.com. How many of you have actually visited the Kumbhathon website? Okay, very good, very good. So we'll make more of you visit the website now. Yeah? It's kumbhathon.com. Okay, go to kumbhathon.com and you'll see this link on the top right called Resource Tools. Okay, you click on that and you'll have 3 tools in front of you, right? So there is a ChatGPT custom bot. There is a custom LLM. We'll walk you through each of this, and then there is Notebook LM. Okay, now I'll walk you through each of these tools from the reverse. So I'll walk you through. Okay, so this is called, so one of the things that you would have got access by now is called the Notebook, right? So the Notebook LM, it's a Google product. You will have an interface that something looks like this. Okay, if you would have received an email with access to this notebook. when you have access to this notebook, when you click on it, the page will look something like this. Set this aside. So here is all the resources that we're talking about, the unconferences that happened. So we have compressed all those files, we have taken notes, we have taken photographs, converted that into text. All of that knowledge now is at your fingertips, right? So all of that is here. Okay, I'll just quickly also show you. So here are about 100 research papers on the topic of mass gatherings, whether it is the Olympics, whether it is the Hajj, other Kumbh Melas over the last 30, 40 years. There have been hundreds of research papers written on this topic. So all of those have been compiled and kept ready for you. So you can actually chat with this and ask any question, right? You can just say, give me a quick overview of, right? So let's see, here is the prompt that already is asking, what key challenges hinder the Kumbh Mela success? You already heard a lot of challenges. Now you can actually drill down and find out a specific challenge. With respect to healthcare, can you tell me what challenges exist? Right? So you get a list of challenges, right? Crowd control, accommodation of sadhus, sanitation and health, and you can go into each of these topics and say, can you elaborate what are these challenges? What challenges have been faced in the past Kumbh Mela? How were they solved? Were they successful? What was the outcome like? So all of that knowledge is inside. You can also check Research Hub and find out what interventions worked, what did not work, and why did they fail. So you could do that even before you formulate your problem statement. Once you have a rough idea of what problem statement is emerging, then you can start within your team ideate, saying, how could we solve this problem? Right? You have a problem statement and maybe 4 or 5 ways in which you think you can solve this problem. You take this and put it into Sage Spark, right? The tool that you just saw the demo, and then ask it to tell you how successful you're likely to be, right? What mistakes are you likely to make? What's the ecosystem look like? And then I like the score, saying what's the potential, 8 out of 10, right? You'll probably get a score of what's the potential of a particular idea. So now you're taking step by step, you're trying to understand what problem to solve, you're roughly ideating what ideas you have, put it on the tool and try to see what is the merit of this approach that you take, right? So this is one journey. Yes, sir.
I think you've covered.
Yeah. I'll just now tell you a few other tools. So we also have this. When you click on, right? When you click on this, it'll take you to a knowledge base. So the specialty of this knowledge base is that you already have documents that have already been curated, which has all of this research, and you can upload your own files. Say, for example, you find research papers that are of interest to you. You can actually go ahead and add those documents as well and see what kind of ideation shift happens. So we asked some interesting questions. For example, what are the healthcare precautions to take at the Kumbh Mela, right? So it gave you some ideas. And I just asked this question because what we also did, somebody asked this question, how do we know what startups and innovations have been done, are applying? So that startups in 2025 who are here in this room, so we have even uploaded them onto this. So what are the startups that are attending the Buildathon during Jan 2025? So you'll get a quick snapshot of all the startups that are there in various sectors. And then you can ask it to go into deeper and say, what are the health tech startups? Because imagine you go into the Buildathon hub and the research hub and you want to solve a healthcare related challenge. You might want to first find out who else is working in healthcare. What are the problems they are addressing? And is there any overlap? Have you really found a niche that you can actually address? And then you can filter out which of these ideas are important for you and what you can address. Similarly, there's another tool. This has a very similar database behind the scenes. You can actually use it to discover more about the Kumbhathon and what kind of problems are worth solving. Okay, is that clear?
Whether it is about the on-field, whatever conversations we had, and as well as maybe some of the research paper, both the data, and you have 2 set of tools which are available. You can use based on how you want to leverage those tools also.
Okay, so you can go into this system. This does not require ChatGPT bot, does not require a sign-in. Whereas Notebook LM, you would have received an email that will give you access to this. And the custom LLM is what will give you a sign-up page and request all of you to sign up. And once you sign up, you will have access to this knowledge base for you to chat with. Okay? Any questions? That's risky. Sure.
There is a question.
Yeah. Arnav is asking.
Go ahead.
Sorry?
We can't.
Can't hear. Are you on the right too? Just check your internet. I think it's working for us. We're on
Maybe
this.
it's the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question Maithili had was how startup who already have a product or idea, how they can use it. Maybe Bhanu, that's a good. So one of the thing, maybe I'll just add to this question, Bhanu, answer. So as Bhanu shared, right? See, there are always opportunity in the startup journey. Maybe contextualizing your solutions to a specific need. So example, you may have tried something in urban setup, maybe in metro city. Now you want to kind of pivot that to tier 2, tier 3 city in India. Example, Nasik is a good sandbox. So a lot of these input which came from the field are very relevant for tier 2, tier 3 city also. Not only from Kumbh Mela point of view, but very relevant for tier 2, tier 3 city in India. And if you are able to sort of articulate and maybe ask those questions on the problem or the kind of solutions problem you are trying to address, maybe it will give you tier 2, tier 3 context. And then based on that, then you can start using the rest of the tools. So that could be the one starting point. Second, in any startup journey, there are always pivots. I may be working on part A in the, let's say, healthcare, and maybe there is an adjacent opportunity which this tool may be able to help you to understand the needs and everything. So maybe one is about contextualizing your solution to the tier 2, tier 3 or Kumbh Mela in that context. Two, if you want to identify certain adjacency and opportunity which are adjacent to your startup or product you are trying to take it to the market or already in the market, maybe these are the two possibilities you have as a startup. Anything you want?
Right. I think if a startup just thinks that the current solution that they already have is perfect and there is no need to add or incrementally improve it, that may not be the best approach to start with. So if you already have a problem statement that you're working on, try to dig deeper and understand, have I thought well about it? Is the solution well-rounded? Does it cover all the bases? So you can use this knowledge base to understand if this is the problem and this is how you're approaching the solution. You can ask it maybe a question that says, by the way, do you think I have thought about all the possible scenarios that could occur? And the knowledge base could tell you, by the way, these other 5 cases that you missed are likely to occur when you deploy your product. And then it'll give you an idea of how much gap there is between what you have today and what you need to build. Like Sandip was saying, how can you adapt it? How can you contextualize your solution to a new scenario? Okay.
Another, just recently, I'm just giving an example of Notebook LM, right? So one of the officer, right? So there are so many new policies. It is called GR. New, maybe policies or interventions are implemented on the field. And let's say it's a Nasik context itself, Nasik or tier 2. Almost, if I'm not wrong, more than 2 lakhs such a GRs were there. 2 lakhs. Now it is absolutely not possible for any officer to know what is exactly there in all the 2 lakhs GR. It could be, each of these could be around 20 pages minimum. And that's the reason you will always see a gap in what is actually a policy made versus gaps in the implementation also. So what this officer did is collected all these 2 lakh plus, I think they have done 70,000 if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
One of our team is working closely with them. 70,000 policies and GRs made available to them. Now they can prioritize based on those policies which are there. And again, based on the need on the field also in the district. And that they are doing in Nashik. So as officer, they were working with their traditional approaches, right? But with this tool, what they were able to do is they got more power in terms of going through all the information, which it is unlikely that they will be able to do, or it will take good amount of time. Like what Raj was also saying, they may be able to go through this all 70,000 GR, but they may have to put hundreds of people to go through each GR, and it will take couple of months to at least understand each of these, right? So tool gives you power to actually accelerate this journey of understanding these, maybe whatever documents or knowledge you may have. So that's what I think we are offering here.
Okay, anybody here who's having difficulty opening and operating these tools? That table alone. There's one more table up here also. Yeah, we'll come there. Right. Any other help that you need, do let us know. I am assuming all others have access to the tools and are able to use it. Okay, all the best. Happy research. For the next 1 hour, you'll all have 1.5 hours. You'll all have time for yourself. You can go and do this research. and let us know what you find about each of your startups and probably the scores that you get for your ideas.
So next 1.5 hour, you continue to use all these 3 tools, plus
Brainstorm at your table.
brainstorm at your table, and mentors from Kumbhathon and entire ecosystems will come and be there. So these are not domain expert. The people who are actually innovations and entrepreneurship expert would come and sit with you and have any conversations if you want. But this is, as a team, you have to spend more time on the tools, use this tool to refine your opportunities, maybe in ideas, validate that what Raj has demonstrated, that tool with that tool also, or refine that further. So next 1.5 hour is yours. In between, we will announce the tea break, but we don't want you to stop working. You go, you have a tea, bring it here on table and continue. But for next 1.5 hour, it's your hour. You leverage these tools. Thank you.